Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move!
James with no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What up, what up? Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast. My name is Nick Engvall. I'm with my guys, Rohit and Robbie, to do a My Starting Five episode. This is where we do the fantasy draft, kind of pick our favorites of a particular topic. And tonight, we're going off-white. So,
little
Rohit.
Off kilter.
Yeah. Rohit already ran the randomizer. He's got the order for us.
The order is Robbie 1, Rohit 2, Nick 3. And for those of us that this is our first fantasy draft episode, we are doing exactly that fantasy draft. So whoever has the tail end of the pick in that round gets the first pick in the subsequent round. And then we make our way through 5 picks with a 6-man coming off the bench.
A little context for people who are maybe not familiar with what Off-White is. It's Virgil Abloh's collaborative brand with Nike. Off-White is his, which collaborates with Nike. Could have probably said that better. But he does also the creative direction for Louis Vuitton now. So
He's done a lot of stuff, man. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's
everywhere and everything. And doesn't he have Kanye West connotations, or he's in that extended universe?
Yeah.
He is an offspring of Kanye, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
In the same way Kanye is an offspring of Jay-Z.
Exactly. Things come around full circle. So I'm going to start this circle. I'm going to get everything started off with, I think, a shoe that if anybody did have a choice of any Off-White shoe, they probably should pick.
Okay, time out. Nick here. Before we get into the rest of today's episode, I wanted to ask you a favor. We're looking for sponsors for the podcast, and I thought, who better to ask than the listeners that support us already? If you're like me, you probably listen to a lot of podcasts, and you know exactly who the sponsors are that you like, and definitely those that you don't. If that sounds like you, send us an email to podcast@sneakerhistory.com with some of the brands that you would like to hear sponsor the Sneaker History Podcast. It would really help us out, and it will save you from hearing about skinny teas or industrial cleaning supplies or other weird stuff like that doesn't make any sense. All right, enough of the business. Let's get back to the show.
I have the blue version, but I'm going to go with the Chicago Off-White Jordan 1. Just talking about pre-recording, that if you're going to buy a resale shoe, Off-Whites are probably going to be the safest bet to not have a retro again anytime soon. I cannot see that Chicago coming back. It's an iconic model. It's going to go down in the archives of Nike right next to the original one. And that's kind of crazy to think about to us old heads, but they're going to be in every freaking fan poster, official. That shoe's going to be in everything until the end of time.
I can't wait for the credit to that to go to not Virgil Abloh, but Virgil, the professional wrestler who is affiliated with $1 Million Man, because, you know, posters always kind of aren't exactly factually accurate. With my number 1 overall pick, I'll go with the Off-White Nike Air Presto, which was a part of the initial 10. Just love a solid black and white shoe, and this isn't even white. It's more of a cream, so that's my pick. Nick, what do you have for your first and second pick?
That was going to be the number 1 pick for me. So I'm going to just slide over to the Air Max 97 from the original 10 as my first pick. And then I'm going to take the all white Presto for my second pick.
Okay, perfect. And then for my second pick, I will go with an Air Max 97, and I'll go for the Serena colorway. Just really like the accents of, what do we call it? Is it actually called a zip tie? Robbie, please correct me because you are my fashion godfather. Is it called a zip tie, or is there a more hip name that I need to familiarize myself with?
I believe the kids call it a hip tie.
Oh.
It's really cool. But no, it's a zip tie.
Okay,
it's
fair
not
enough.
a cool tie.
And Robbie, who do you have for your second and third picks?
I'm going to have to just be the most basic person. I'm going to go with the UNC Jordan 1 because I think that shoe's gorgeous. And I'm not sorry about it. If the house was burning down, I would get my laptop, my cat, and I'm putting those shoes on. And I'm running out the house. If I can save anything, it's the computer, the cat, and those shoes. And then I'm probably going to have to go with the shoe. I'm going to have to go with the original, the 10 Blazer. That shoe, as it gets beat up, I don't own a pair. But whenever I see somebody with like a semi-beat pair or a well-worn pair, it just looks so good. That shoe ages really well, and that's probably a quarter of the firepower of what makes the Off-White Nike collab so good. As you wear them, they look cooler.
Speaking of quarters, I'll go for a model that's associated with the number 4, and I'll go ahead and go with the Off-White Air Jordan 4, even though I believe this is a female-only colorway. It's just a pristine shoe, and it would be nice to have in the collection, even if it's with your wife or boo thing or whoever that special female presence is in your life.
Yeah, that's a good pick. All right, so my third pick, I am going to go with the Air Max 97 with the Menta colorway. It's like that gray with the green hues.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
It's actually might even be higher up on my list now that I think about it. And then I'm gonna go a little bit off kilter, as Robbie said, with my fourth pick, and I'm gonna go with the Zoomfly Mercurial, the orange colorway.
Nice.
Okay.
I was hoping that would be there for my sixth person, but it's not because Nick is doing a brilliant job scouting. So I don't know. I'm going to have to pivot. And as I'm pivoting and kind of going through the options, because there's 71 pairs, I'll go for what many consider to be a reach, but I liked it initially. It was the only shoe I actively tried for in that 10 release, and that is the Nike Hyperdunk. I'm sorry. The Nike React Hyperdunk.
A rose by any other name is still a yellowing shoe. So great pick.
I appreciate that.
Those things are PP yellow now, though. It's still a fantastic shoe, though. So with mine, I'm gonna have to go with the Desert Ore Air Max 90. Really cool color, beige sand ore. So really cool. And then for my final one is another one I love to wear. The All Hallows Eve blazer. Let's just make it 2 blazers, 2 Jordan 1s, because I'm a basic asshole. It's just a great looking shoe.
You're not a basic asshole. You're a great looking person, so the great looking shoe makes sense. And I think with my final pick, I will go with the Off-White Nike Air Zoom Tempo Pink Glow, because why not? I feel like I'd be Cameron and West Side Gun in this shoe, and sometimes you need that swag in your life.
Sometimes.
Good pick. I'm going to go a little off-brand for myself personally, and with my final pick the Air Force One from the Chicago Modern Art Museum, the MCA Chicago or MCA Air Force One. That
so the blue one,
UNC blue with a silver swoosh. Yep,
that was on my rate. Yeah, good pick.
All right, 6 man. Let's start it again, Robbie.
The University Gold Air Force One, because I was like, okay. Because I was going to pick the blue one. The blue was on the top of my list for my 6th man. It's such a jarring blue. such a jarring yellow.
That's what I like about it, definitely. And just like midsole included, right? Like it's just different. You don't see that very often on the Air Force One.
Robert, can you just take the Volt one and we'll all just take Air Force Ones as a 6-man? They're also so bold.
That's fine. I was going to go with the actual off-white Zoom Mercurial football cleat, as opposed to, I think, Nick, which one did you pick? That was the Mercurial orange. Was that the?
Yeah, it's like the Zoom Fly, I think, is the.
Yeah, I'll take the actual football cleat. But because if we are doing the Air Force Ones, go ahead and give me the Volt. I don't mind.
Such great. I mean, what's so funny is you can say like, oh, it's just the same thing over and over again. It's like, yeah, technically it is, but like you do it right over and over again. It's not always right, but the ones that hit are definitely hitters.
So I'm kind of surprised, Robbie. I guess I'm going to go. My 6-man is going to be the Jordan 1 in the all white, but I'm actually really shocked that you didn't pick either of the Air Jordan 5s.
I am too.
It's there's just so many good ones. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot those existed until you said it right now, and now I'm kind of wishing. I mean, in retrospect, if I could correct that, I'm going to, because I can. I'm going to take off the white blazer and I'm going to put the black Jordan 5.
So you're taking off Arvydas Sabonis and replacing him with Michael Jordan. I like it.
Exactly. That's 100% what I'm doing. But there really are. I mean, there's obvious ones I think we're all going to kind of stick away from, and that's not a bad thing, but neither one of us went for the 50, right?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even pick a dunk.
No, not one dunk. There's the rubber dunk. There's like the know your school, be true to your school type feeling ones. Then there's the 50. So of 3 different shots. Yeah. 0 for 3. Nobody went for a Vapor Max also, right?
I don't think so. That's the other one I was surprised about, because I figured the Vapor Max to me is one of those silhouettes that's just breathtakingly beautiful the first time you see it, and I'm surprised nobody fell privy to its trap.
But both of you, so Nick, you had a 97, and Rohit, you had the Serena one, right? Or Nick had the Serena?
Yeah.
Yes. The
Which
Air
one
Max
did you have,
97. Yep.
I had the original 10 and the Menta.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, so I had an Air Max 90. So let's say Jordans do well and Air Maxes do well. I mean, Dunks historically, no, we went for a Converse either when we went for one of the couple of Chuck options.
I like the original Chuck Taylor from the 10, but the 70s one with the stripes on the outsole, not for me.
A little too wild.
A little too pitchy.
Yeah. And we were talking before we started recording. Honestly, like I like the Terra Kiger that they did, and then like the Waffle Racer with all of the ones that had the aggressive spiked outsoles. I'm not a fan of that, but you mentioned that they're pretty comfortable on foot. So, I mean,
they are, man.
I'm probably not in a place to ever pick up one of these, but if I were to buy an off-white shoe at this point, I think it would probably be something like that that's a little more obscure. People might not even recognize that as an off-white shoe.
Well, the Waffle Racer, people have some options there. So Barry cut off like the plastic film cover over. And it's pretty much a huge overlay going and wrapping around the whole shoe. I am a purist with pretty much everything, so I won't cut mine off, but I entertain it because I think it would look cool without it. There's some stuff there. A lot of people, especially the white off-whites, like to dye them.
Yeah.
So I think what makes them cool, and why Virgil, for a little less background information, the hang tag is on there. The zip tie is on there because his reasoning was when you get anything with a zip tie on it, right, it symbolizes using a product. Like this is going to be no longer stock, like zip tie on a fire extinguisher. Once you take that off, fire extinguisher can go off at any time if you go and use it. So that's what it's supposed to symbolize. You're supposed to then make it your own, you know? So,
which makes it even weirder that Paul Pierce attached one to his Racer Blues?
No, it was Cool Gray. I mean,
Cool Gray. Yeah, that's what it was.
What's funny is when I was in Seattle this weekend, I saw somebody with a pair of off-whites with the hang tag and the StockX tag on. So like one had the StockX tag and one had the hang tag on.
You know who that is? That's some undercover cop trying to get in ahead of whatever the Seattle sneaker ring looks like.
Yeah, that was a look. StockX tags are not cool. No. Take them off.
That's literally the Hey Kids Steve Buscemi meme in person.
Exactly.
I was part of a special task force of very young-looking cops who infiltrated high schools. How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Thank you, Nick. That's exactly what it is.
110%.
That's a pretty good list, though. I mean, and, you know, as I kind of mentioned, 70 something releases so far, you know, I kind of thought of this as like a topic because we've got these Jordan 2s coming now too, which none of us picked. But I think, you know, if I was just going to have a pair on display, that's kind of a cool way to also display like a you know, semi-vintage pair of Jordan 2s compared to just having a shoe that crumbles on your wall or in your display case or something. So
let's hear the sound off. I'll go first, give people a reminder that I won. So we have the Chicago Air Jordan 1, we have the UNC Air Jordan 1, we have the Air Jordan 5 Black Metallic, we have the All Hallows Eve Blazer, the Air Max 90 Desert Ore, and last for my 6-man, the University Gold Air Force 1.
Excellent. I'll go next. My first overall pick was the Air Presto as a part of the 10. Then I chose the Off-White Air Jordan 4, followed by the Air Max Serena 97. Then following it up with my penultimate pick, the Nike React Hyperdunk, which was also a part of the 10, and then lastly, the Air Zoom Tempo Pink Glow. And then for my 6th person off the bench, initially I had picked the Kylian Mbappe Mercurial actual cleat, but then Robbie talked some sense into me, so I went with the Volt Air Force 1.
all right, my first pick was the Air Max 97 from the original 10. Second pick was the Air Presto in the all-white colorway. Third pick was the Air Max 97 Menta colorway. Then I went with the orange Zoomfly Mercurial, the MCA Air Force 1 in that Carolina blue colorway, and then my 6-man was the all-white Air Jordan 1.
And again, all coming back around to the November 12th release of the Air Jordan 2 Low White, which shape's supposed to be right.
And not only that, that's where the famous "fuck those kids" meme actually came from, because that was his reaction as he wrote his name 100,000 times.
So everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
It's been a fun My Starting Five. Tune in again.
It has been. Definitely. Hit the subscribe button. Rock with us. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Bye. Have a good day.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.